has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Weekend
4,
countdown.
3, 2, 1, 0.
11 is a long-distance footpath in Spain, also known as the GR11 Trans-Pyrenees route. It stretches approximately 930 kilometers, 578 miles, from the Atlantic coast to the Mediterranean, passing through the Pyrenees mountains. The GR11 is one of Spain's Grandes Recorridos, or long-distance hiking trails, and is a popular destination for backpackers and nature lovers. The GR11 is known for its scenic beauty, with diverse landscapes including rolling hills, dramatic peaks, and lush forests. Along the way, hikers will pass through small mountain villages and historic sites, and may encounter wildlife such as deer, eagles, and vultures. While the GR11 is a challenging hike, with steep inclines and rough terrain, it is also accessible to many people with the right preparation and equipment. Hikers typically take between 4 to 6 weeks to complete the entire route, although it is possible to hike sections of the trail or to do the route in stages. If you are considering hiking the GR11, it is important to plan ahead and be prepared for the physical and logistical demands of the trail. This may include attaining the necessary permits, researching weather conditions and trail conditions, and packing appropriate gear. But for those who are up for the challenge, the GR11 offers a rewarding and unforgettable hiking experience.
This program is sponsored by Lightway. Lightway is a company that specializes in creating ultralight gear for adventurous individuals. Their gear is characterized by its simplicity, lightness, and versatility. The company believes that gear can be both lightweight and functional, and they aim to provide their customers with convenient gear that enhances their adventures. The motto of Lightway is "Lightness is where you are."
Welcome to our live program all about the GR11 trail. We'll be talking to experienced hikers and hearing about their incredible journeys on one of the most famous and beautiful trails in the Pyrenees. Join us as we explore the GR11 trail, one of the most challenging and rewarding hikes in Europe. We'll be talking to hikers who have completed the trail and hearing about their experiences and tips for tackling this iconic trek. We're excited to bring you a live program all about from the beautiful landscapes to the challenges they faced along the way. From the Pyrenees to the Mediterranean, this trail is a must-do for any outdoor enthusiast. Let's embark on an adventure. As we explore tonight's show, will be hosted by Jordadams, who has taken the initiative of interviewing various personalities who in one way or another have something positive to contribute and help others. Today, we will have many interesting things with us. Right now I want to introduce the two guests of today's interview. They're Sasha, who was raised in the USA and is characterized by having completed the GR11 solo as a woman and demonstrating a character of resilience and strength, and has shown that it is possible when you set your mind to it. And on the other hand, we will have Simo, a Valencian but raised in Murcia, who is characterized by his reflections on his travels, as well as having completed the GR11 solo, without a map or a compass. So without further ado, let's move on to our guests. First we present Sasha.
Sasha is a world traveler, who has been exploring different parts of the world for over 12 years. Unlike most people, Sasha doesn't have a fixed home, city, or country to return to when she runs out of money. She finds the idea of having an ordinary life, with a home and a career, boring and unnecessary. To Sasha, the entire planet Earth is his home. She believes that it is time for everyone to examine their actions on the planet. Contrary to popular belief, Sasha thinks that money is not the main factor that prevents people from traveling, especially for those who come from privileged countries. She views money as just an excuse. It is important to note that this type of lifestyle is not for everyone, and there are significant sacrifices that come with it. However, if someone has a dream of traveling, Sasha believes that they should not let money hold them back. According to Sasha, the essential things for survival on Earth are not money, but water, food, and sometimes shelter, especially in Siberia. So we give a round of applause to Sasha and thank her for participating with us and Jordi Toms on this day. I am sure that together with Al it will be a great chat between friends, that the time will pass very fast. He was born in Valencia, but has lived in Murcia since he was 9 years old. He has loved the mountains since he was a child, and has been climbing since he was approximately 16 years old, although not continuously. During his university years, studying history, he started running in mountain trails and participated in half-mountain marathons and similar races. Later, he attempted a half Ironman. Today we will know what happened there. After focusing on climbing for about 5 years, he decided to shift his focus to long-distance mountain routes, such as the Trans-Pyrenaica. Currently, he has started with cycling tourism on his Trans-Mediterranean route. So we give a round of applause to Al Simo and thank him for participating with us and Jordi Toms on this day. I am sure that together with Sasha it will be a great chat between friends, that the time will pass very fast.
I'm so happy to have you here, Sasha and Al. It's real pleasure. Thank you so much for all the viewers that and the chat. Wow, the chat is hot. Yeah. Well, not a little bit, but thank you so much. The reason of why I'm doing this is I am from Dominican Republic and I moved with my family to Barcelona in 2019. What happened that when I moved to Catalonia, beautiful Catalonia, I start seeing the mountains. So I start walking. But what happened that when I start feeling like, wow, my passion is hiking, because when I was young, well, I am young, but when I was younger, I used to do enduro bike in the mountains. My wife always make a joke of me because my wife always said, well, I always saw you in the ground now, but I was good in enduro bike. And then in the hiking, I felt like wow connection with the mountain. What happened, guys? That then the virus, the COVID came, and I was laying down in my sofa one day, and I of course what normally I do? I searching YouTube about Montaña Oculta. This is my connection with you, and then in the TV, I found a video. It's it's a saga. It's a trilogy of 3 videos of a guy that is called Montaña Oculta. Montaña Oculta is us with all right now. It's us. Íñigo, un abrazo para ti. And when I saw Íñigo, I saw his movie. 3 hours movie, but I was so amazed about, of course, what he do on the movies, but I was so amazed also because of the mountain, about the Pyrenees. I have no idea what the Pyrenees is. I mean, you talk to me about beaches, about sun, mojito, and I know about that, but Pyrenees, I have no idea what a Pyrenees is. So, but I saw Montaña Oculta video, and I say to myself, you know what? I want to go there someday. What happened then? When then later the summer of the 2020 came, but I said, well, you know, I'm a little fat. I don't think I can do that. So I decided to you know what, let's do it on the next summer. So the summer of 2021 came, and I said, you know what, I am like not yet prepared, so I will do it next year. And well, the summer of 2022 came. And I say, you know, the next one. But what happened that beside that, I have been growing a lot hiking in the Pyrenees. I have been growing a lot doing long distance trail. And I said to myself, you know what? This is the summer. So what happened? I started, and I'm going to make an announcement to everybody here. And I started, and I saw, I wrote to Montaña Oculta, hey, I have a few questions that I would like to ask you. And of course, Inigo said, of course, Jordi, let's do it. And then I saw your videos. Sasha, with you, I have something special for you to tell you. Wait. And then Al, I saw your video and I said, hey Al, I would like to talk to you. And you said, Al said, yes, let's go ahead. But what happened? Then I was seeing Sasha's videos, and I said, wow, but Sasha is a girl, and she's hiking alone, and she's doing the GR11 alone in the dark. All man, I need to meet her. I need to interview them, and then I decide to create this interview. But my announcement that I'm going to do now is you have no idea all the people that is right now waiting, and I will be interviewing. For example, we're going to have Montaña Oculta. We will be having tomorrow Oscar from Hike Much. We will have Chase for Chase Mountain. We will have Jordi Ramot, the founder of Wikilog. The founder of Wikilog. He replied to me, and yes, he agreed, but it's going to be in John. Okay, but he's going to be here. We're going to have here the hiking guy, Oscar. He's from California. He's very well known, very famous there. He agreed to that. Anyway, we have a lot of people that I think Joseph from the Good One Road is it's gonna be an amazing. So thank you so much, Sasha and Al, for this opportunity.
Yeah. So hello. I'm Sasha. I grew up in the U.S., but for the last 15 years or so, I've just been traveling, different places, moving around most of the time. And I spent the last few years actually writing a book about the travel stories and things like that. And kind of because of that, I decided to do the GR11. To kind of, because I finished it and I wanted to just go out in nature and have like a long think about everything and just kind of be out there by myself, walking the trail, thinking, and
But Sasha, when I read your biography, you mentioned you have been in Siberia. I don't know how Siberia is, but if I ask myself, how is Siberia? I imagine, a lot of snow, very hard to live. I mean, how was your experience when you were traveling in Siberia?
Yeah, Siberia is beautiful, actually. I was near Lake Baikal. And actually, I was hiking in Siberia quite a lot. There are some really, really beautiful places, big mountains, very cold in winter. Lake Baikal freezes over with about 1 to 2 meters of ice, and you can walk on. You can even drive on the lake, but you can walk and walk to different islands and things like that. And Siberia is really beautiful.
Wow.
It's very more wild place,
Yeah, I can imagine. And Al, what about you? Cuéntanos de ti, Al.
Bueno,
Who is Al?
Sorry,
excuse me, Al. As your biography, you were trying to do an Ironman? Wow.
A half.
What? Anyway, at least I cannot do even a little bit. So
I want to prepare for one Ironman, but it's very difficult.
Now, but tell us about you. Tell us about you.
Yes, I live in Spain in a region of is very desert, and I love the green land in the north of Spain, the mountain, the nature, and climbing. The most important, I love the nature, and for that I go to Pyrenees many days.
Wow! So you have a lot of experience. Tiene mucha experiencia en la naturaleza.
Yes, I visit or I stay many times for when I'm child. No.
Okay.
All my life, climbing, running, trail running in the mountain.
Okay.
And I don't know.
No, it's so great. And let me ask you something. Let's start with Sasha again. Sasha, can you describe some of the most challenging of the GR11 and how you overcome them?
So one thing that was a big challenge, you should keep in mind, on the coast, so when you start and when you end, there's a problem with long distances between water sources. So for me, it was a big challenge to figure out how much water I need to bring from, to walk 12 kilometers, to walk 10 kilometers, to walk 15 kilometers, to be sure that there's water when I arrive. And also I had a huge problem with weight because of that, because it was really, really heavy to carry a lot of water and to carry a lot of weight in general. It was really difficult. So I struggled with the water near the coast. And of course, I struggled to get up the high mountains because, the GR11, it's like some days you go 1,000 meters up, 1,000 meters down. The next day you do 1.5 meters up, 1.5 meters down.
All the days.
Yeah, pretty much many days in a row. And it's really, really hard. You should know it's difficult. It's not easy.
And Al, what about you? For you, Al, which one was the most challenging part of the trail, and how do you overcome them? I mean, ¿cuál fue la parte más difícil?
Yes, for me, for me it's similar that Sasha. Well, for me, in the beginning, I understand that they are very, very hard in the first or 2 days, and I know in the middle of Pyrenees, I think that is the stage more hard, no?
Okay.
And when you start, you say, "Oh, it's very days," and this is it's the most harder of the route, no?
You have hardest part
to all the days, up, down. In English, I don't know how to say, but I remember that I think all the days in Spanish is darlo todo.
Okay.
In English, I don't know.
You give it all yourself. Yeah.
All the days, I finish my energy. All the days.
Yeah.
And start, and it's crazy. For me, it's crazy because I exploring for myself, no?
Okay.
The superation and I learned the most important that in Ironman and in all challenge, no?
Yeah.
That the body, the human body is crazy, is wonderful, no? Because we have limits, mind, no?
Yeah.
The mind is the limit. The body, no.
True. Everything is in your head. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
And other problem is the water. When you don't have water, it's a problem. And it's a problem because you need drink and you need cooking.
Yeah.
And if you don't have water in the afternoon, you can dinner, no? At the morning is the food. Well, okay.
So as I can see, as some taken from your part and from Sasha's part, so the water is one of the most important topic here. How do you handle
because
the water?
in the region of Aragon, there are water in any place. But in Navarra for me is the last part is Catalonia.
Okay.
Catalonia is most difficult.
How do you prepare yourself? I mean, how do you not only physical, and it's only physical and mentally.
Yes, for me, I told many times in the videos, the most important is the mentally, no?
Yeah.
But only the mentally, no climbing the mountain.
Yeah.
But I think the preparing, I start with the mentally, no?
Yeah.
The mentally for me is important. The YouTube videos and for me, any person, another person that finish this challenge, no?
Okay. Okay.
And different person. I meet Anina, Eli del Pirineu, and you growing in your mind that there are possible. Because the most important is you understand that you can and it's possible, no?
Okay.
Because it's a big. And physically, I don't prepare concretely. I concretely prepare it mentally for the.
Well, what about your body, Al? I mean,
because
you have to go to the gym, run, or do something.
I do a sport every day.
Okay.
I running. I'm doing the cycling. See, I meet a person and told me that I have the most heavy back in all the Pyrenees.
And Sasha, what about you? How do you prepare yourself? Please, Sasha, don't tell me I went to the gym. No, Sasha, what type of exercise?
Look, I will tell you, Jordy, what you have to do now.
Yes.
If you want to do the GR11, you have to get a heavy backpack, at least 15 kilos or so, and start walking up mountains as many days per week as possible. If you don't have mountains close to you, start walking up stairs, big, lots of stairs with a load on your back.
Oh, Lord.
For me, I mean, the physical was the biggest challenge. For me, mentally, it was not a big deal. It was just, okay, I was ready to do it. I had my mind set. I said, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. Physically, it's very, very hard. To prepare, for me, for like, I bought hiking boots like 2 months before I left for the trail, and I wanted to wear them out. And I went hiking probably almost every day for maybe 5-7 kilometers, and at least 3 times a week for 15 kilometers. And that was not enough. Like, that was not at all enough. I was very, very out of shape. It's difficult. You have to prepare physically, really. And I'll tell you, I used to hike in Siberia. I used to hike there a lot, up mountains every weekend. I kind of worked as a hiking guide. Like, it was, okay, not a real hiking guide, but kind of, with a hiking group. We went every weekend to the mountains in Siberia. At one point, we were going
Sasha, wait.
You have to hike.
Sasha, wait. So you hike it with someone that is more or less a mountain guide in the snow in Siberia? Wow. I mean, wow, Sasha.
I'm telling you, you have to hike to prepare for this trip.
Okay.
Hike up mountains with a heavy backpack.
Before I tell you look at what I am asking this, but let me ask you, Sasha, the GR11, if you have to do it again, do you repeat it?
Would I repeat it?
Oh, Lord.
Probably not. But I would do a different hike of similar difficulty.
Okay.
Because
so
I wouldn't do the same one because I've already done it. But I'm telling you, quit your gym membership. Forget about the gym. I've seen people that have like a physical trainer at the gym that cannot climb mountains. Okay, you have to prepare yourself for climbing mountains. The only way to do that is by climbing mountains. I think as early as possible. I mean, as soon as you decide that you're going to do this trek, you should start climbing up stairs or hills or mountains. Yeah, as soon as possible. I mean, all I can say is it's really, really difficult, and the more you train, the more prepared you will be.
For me, no, because it's a crazy challenge, and you don't have the perspective of all. I think that you need to love the mountain because you need to stay very, very days in the week, no? Yeah. That Sasha say that, no?
Eli del Pirineo is asking, would you try to do it, but in the winter with snow?
Wow.
No?
For me, I live in the desert. I don't know any the snow, and the for me is I like, but I don't have the preparation. No.
No, yeah, Al, you should do it. I saw a video of Eddie del Pirineo and with Pablo, no remember his name. They went in a 3,000 meter high
Yes.
peak, and they felt it so good. It's very funny. Their video are very funny. So you should try to go with them. Not with me because again I'm from the Caribbean, but you should try to go with them. Wow. Also, a big hello to Sandra Camina. That is here right now. Thank you, Sandra. Sandra is very special to me. Sandra is my follower from many time ago in Wikilog. So Sandra, a big kiss for you. And okay. And then Montaña Culta says, we are getting late. We should try to make everybody a hiking together in the Pyrenees. So Montaña Culta, it's a deal. I have to do that for sure. Sasha, will you come with us?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Something that is really worrying me is how do you handle it? How do you manage the logistic? And my question exactly, and I'm going to start with you, Al, es Al, ¿cómo tú manejas la logística, dónde dormir, la comida, los supplies? Y por ejemplo, Al, ¿cómo tú dices, no, que yo voy a intentar de campaña? Sí, pero ¿cómo tú organizas dónde vas a dormir? ¿Cómo tú sabes en dónde quedar? So my question is, how do you manage where you're going to sleep? No, I'm going to sleep in a tent. Yeah, but where you're going to put your tent? Because in part of your video, and Sasha, in part of your video, you mentioned that you are the whole day thinking where you're going to camp.
The logistic for me is crazy because I one condition is no use the mobile phone and no GPS, no internet, only for emergency case, no?
Okay.
And it's crazy because I study the maps. I have the maps separate for states, and I study and I see a village but drawing in the map. I don't know if it's a good village, if there are supermarket, anything. And I have many problems for the most heavy problem. It's in Zuriza. When I arrived to Zuriza, in the map, it's drawing look like a town, but it's a camping, only a camping.
Oh Lord!
And no supermarket, and I think, for me it's a problem. The logistic with for sleep, I doing the same. The stage finish every time in the towns, and I sleep or after or before or after the town.
Okay.
It's near to the town because when you is before you finish all your food, and in the morning you can shopping in the town the next food, and it's different if you finish after.
Yeah, no? But there's something that really worried me, and you don't mention that. But Sasha do mention that and we'll see later that Sasha said that when you are hiking and you go to a supermarket, you are very hungry and you purchase a lot of things because you are hungry. But then like the shitty Nutella that you purchased, hey, I remember that, Sasha. And what happened, Al, that when you purchase with hungry and then you realize that you have to carry all that in your back to climb a mountain, then you're like, wow, I should still be hungry and know with all that. I mean, this is my question. How, you purchase it, you manage planning in the map, but I think, yes, in one of your videos, you have one part of your videos, Al, that a fox eat your food. A fox get into your tent and steal your food. And what happened to you if you are o sea, you are far away from a town and you are lack of food and a fox, a wild boar, a strange animal. It's kind of complicated, the logistic, right? I mean, to close the topic, it's complicated to get the logistic, right?
Yes, it's complicated.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. And
because
Sasha,
you say that when you go to supermarket hungry and you don't have a organization, you buy something. I learned in a person in Malayistic in this route, and he told me that every time I need a list for to buy. It's important.
Yeah, so with the food, I also made a list. And actually, the funny thing is, when you're walking in these huge mountains, I couldn't get food out of my head. So I was making the list as I was approaching the store because I was like, okay, I need this, I need that. And I was just, dreaming about this food. And I always kept basically the same list because I kind of bought the same things. And then I would just tick off if I have them or I don't have them. So the list, is important. But the thing is, when I got to the shop, I would still see something extra that's not on my list, like a cake, or like a cupcake or gummy bears, and then I would buy them anyway. And then eventually they would wind up on the list, which is not good. The camping and things like that, I was not at all as hardcore as Alfonso. I had my phone and I had a guidebook, so I had the guidebook on my phone, so I didn't carry extra weight. I would, unless you want to be really hardcore, I would recommend getting the guidebook, and I would recommend, not carrying the hard copy because it's even heavier. But just to have it on your phone or on a book reader if you bring a book reader. But on the phone was the most handy. Okay. So, I would kind of, because of the guidebook, I could usually guess where I can find better camping. Okay. Although it didn't always work because I was going the opposite direction of the guidebook. So I was going east to west, and the guidebook is west to east. And a couple of times I missed what they were talking about. And then I had nowhere to camp, and then I was like in the dark, like kind of at the end of the trail, like in the dark, pitching my tent next to a road somewhere, or I'd like pass the camping by accident, and then I had to like find camping close to some towns. Sometimes I slept on like someone's property where there was no one around, or like I don't know, in some churches and things like that.
Sandra Camina says that she said hello to everybody, and she's having really great time with our videos, and she said, Sasha, there's still better yet to come. Can you answer that? Again, from Brazil is asking, is there a spreadsheet of food and planning?
I know the application that Eli del Pirineo recommended, but I don't use anything.
Okay. You are the old school. Okay, Sasha, what about
I have all in the back, and I say, it's very heavy.
Oh my God. What about you, Sasha?
I mean, I made a list of the gear that I used, if that's helpful, and I posted it in the description of one of my first videos from doing this trek where I was packing. So I was packing and I explained all the gear that I was planning on using, and then I included the list there. So if it helps anyone, they can take a look at it.
Yes, sure. And also, Eli del Pirineo says it's a lighter pack that it's very well recommended. Memorable encounters.
I pretty much just met people mostly in the refuges, because every once in a while I stayed in the free shelters, in the bothies. And of course there are really nice people usually. Had some people share some food with me and give me their food if they're, stopping hiking, or, share like some wine, which was nice. But actually, I think the most memorable encounter. I had three very interesting encounters. One was just like in the beginning of the trek, I was just starting to go, and I was, it was already difficult for me. And I walked by this girl, and she had this big backpack, and she was walking fast, and I didn't even talk to her, but we made eye contact, and I could just tell that she had just finished the GR, or at least a part of it. And she was like, she seemed to like look at me like, okay, you're gonna go through a big journey now, and I just had this this kind of nice.
What a situation for you! I can imagine what you were thinking at that time.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, there's a big journey ahead. That's for sure.
Yes, for me, the most important is the relation of Marcos and I meet in the travel, and he helped me for very times for food, and the most memorable, no, or
memorable
is in the this is the most friend, but in one day in the finish, look like the finish for Catalonia, I walk for alone for many days and not talk for any person, and I meet one person in a church, in an ancient church, no?
Okay.
And I told very he have the thinking of me. Do you understand? No?
Yes.
And he no broken the leg, but he have a bad leg, no? And he continues to work. And I don't. In English, it's very difficult for me.
Don't worry, say in Spanish. Don't worry. You are doing great,
yes,
Al. You are doing great.
Lo conocí y él siguió andando, ¿no? Y yo debería de encontrármelo y no me lo encontré. Y llegué a pensar si era de mi cabeza, for many days alone, that he is real or not real. But in the finish of the day, I lo encontré otra vez in a bar, and I say, no estoy loco.
Montaña Oculta is asking, I mean, what do you think about the GR11 that the people are not agree with you? In my case, I think the GR11 is a beautiful path to connect myself, but everybody said, no, I'm crazy. But I say, no, it's a beautiful path. In your case, was everybody agree with you that you were alone, that you were hiking there by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it is, a really wonderful way to kind of, just be in the nature and just to, connect yourself with nature, sure, with the beautiful mountains.
Yes, for me is about the possibilitation of the body that I explained before, no?
Okay. Do you recommend it? Do you recommend it again? Well, El Pirineo asked if you do it again. So, Sasha, do you recommend, well, you don't do it again, but do you recommend this hike to the people that is trying to do it right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's an absolutely beautiful hike. And it's not that I don't really want to do it again. It's just that there are so many other hikes, and because I've already done this one, I wouldn't do it again because I already did it. I'd rather do something different. But if I hadn't done it, I would do it. Does that make sense?
And what about you, Al? Do you recommend this route?
Yes,
or do you think it's so bored and so tough that you don't recommend it?
Of course, I recommend, and I want to do it anything, anytime, another time. I don't know when, but...
advice, that tip for now that you passed that.
Bring as light a gear as possible, as little stuff as you can, and as light as possible.
Okay, so you bring almost 23 kilos or 25, Sasha? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
So now you have to do it again. How much weight do you want to carry in your bag?
I would love to carry like as little as possible. I mean, I would love to have like 12 kilos. I don't know if it just wasn't possible for me because I didn't have any money to buy gear with, basically.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I just borrowed a huge tent from my friend. It was big enough for 2 people. I borrowed a bunch of other equipment. I had old equipment, and it was just like huge and heavy. But I didn't have a choice. If I was preparing and buying equipment, I would buy much lighter, much smaller things, but a good backpack.
So for you, this is your best advice, right?
This and start climbing mountains now.
In Spain, in Spanish, is
however you feel.
Levántate pronto y aprovecha mucho el día. Because it's important to work tranquilamente, no?
Okay.
How do you say in English?
Freely, without no pressure.
Yes.
Okay. And
I it's important think all the time that this one is for self, no?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got it. But something happened to you one day. So you can see that I saw your video. That it was 5 o'clock in the morning. Everybody, imagine that situation. Eli de Pyrenees says, el gran consejo de Simo. It's very nice.
Many times is the problem for the water of the food. If you don't have any water, you can't stay in the tent.
Like for me, I almost always camped next to water. I really tried hard to, like, if you're you're looking at the guidebook and you have the maps and everything, where you are in the GPS or whatever, then you can see, where there's a river, where, there, or at least a water tap.
Interior change. About this, I'm asking, how the trail changed you in terms of physical and mental change?
For me, no?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
¿Cómo te cambió?
It's you transform very stronger physically and mentally, no? And the most important in your daily,
yeah.
No, day to day.
Your daily walk, yeah.
Yes, your relativities,
yeah, your relative,
the situation, the problems.
And you realize the problem. Okay, you realize the problem. Okay.
Yes, you don't look any problem. The problem there are in the mountain. Very heavy problems.
Yeah, I mean, I always think it's good to overcome a challenge. And this is a really big challenge physically. Throughout the hike, I felt like I was a lot more in touch with my body, for example. Like I was, I don't know, somehow more connected to my body. I could, I don't even know really how to explain that, but you become definitely a lot stronger, definitely physically. And you get these really intense cravings for food. I don't know if Ali, you had that or not, but
Pasaste hambre, Ali.
Sometimes.
For me, I would it was the best thing in the world to come, set up camp, and then cook food and then eat the food. It was like the most amazing thing. Yeah. And then I would go to sleep. In the middle of the night, I usually woke up and then ate more.
Oh, yes.
And then went back to sleep.
You don't show that in your videos, right?
No.
You don't show that in the video.
Yeah. I was too tired to film. It was just about the food, and then wake up, eat again. It's like.
Oh,
yes, when finish this challenge, the food and many things is appreciate more, no?
You appreciate more the food, yeah. From the top route that you hiked in the whole Europe, which one for you is the most beautiful? How you compared it to this?
This was by far much more difficult than any other hike I've done.
That's Siberia?
Yeah, The next closest thing to the GR that I've done was a trail in Siberia that was over 200 kilometers. It took 10 days there and back. And of course, that was, intense wilderness. There's nobody out there, basically, just a few people. And, you might fear grizzly bears instead of boars, but I was doing that with a group. So now this one I did alone. So it was more challenging in a lot of ways, but it is difficult. It's like 1.5 kilometers up, 1.5 kilometers down. 1.5 kilometers up, 1.5 kilometers down, over and over again.
Wow,
So,
Sasha.
Prepare.
I'm trying. You know what? What is going to happen, Sasha? I think that I will have grandsons, and I will still be doing these interviews, and my grandson is going to ask me, "Hey, Grandpa, when are you going to do the GR11?" And my wife is going to say, "Oh, my grandson."
But you should at least be a part of it. I mean, you don't have to do the entire thing. You can always do bits of it. It's really beautiful.
Yes, in my case, Sasha, I will be doing from part to part because of my job, and I am married with my beautiful wife, Lola. Lola, a big kiss. I love you, and I have it in my heart, Lola. I have my 2 beautiful princess my daughters. I love you, my princess. And of course, I cannot tell them, hey, that is going to disappear for 51 days. I cannot do that. So I'm going to do it by part from part. So, Al, what about you? How do you compare?
For me, it's the same that Sasha. No, in my life, I doing mountain hard, no, but the desnivel, but the desnivel hard, but no longer. In the Pyrenees, is always hard, but it's longer, but it's continuous all the days. But it's the most beautiful for me. Look like it's the most beautiful, and this is el esfuerzo se compensa. No?
Se compensa. Wow. Sandra Camina. She said, "Did you ever have to walk in wet clothes from the day before?
For me?
Wet socks, wet t-shirt, wet pants. You have to wear the same clothes because it's wet and it was raining the whole day and you couldn't put it in the sun." Sasha, what about you?
Not that much, actually. I had to carry a wet tent a couple of times, but not really wet clothes, not that I remember. Yeah,
okay.
Of course, rain jacket, but yeah. I got pretty lucky with weather. It wasn't raining too much most of the time, so.
Yeah. You know what, Sasha? Al doesn't have the same luck. So let me ask Al. Al, ¿cómo te fue con la lluvia y la ropa mojada, Al?
For me, I say before, no, it's typical the dry and the rain, because I live in the desert. But I learned for Marcos teach me that is a mind. You in Spain is acostúmbrate. In English, I don't know. Acostúmbrate
get used to it. Get used to it. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, because I also don't like to be dirty. I almost never went into my sleeping bag without washing myself off during the entire GR11 trek. And you know what I did before the trek? Yeah. Another thing to prepare yourself. I went here, in Costa Brava, close to Barcelona, into the sea in the winter from March, April, May, when the water is 14 degrees.
Sasha, wait. Please, everybody, you have to enter to Sasha's YouTube channel. It's Big World, Small Sasha. She has a very beautiful experience with a pulpo. How do you say pulpo in English?
With an octopus.
With an octopus. She make a connection. I saw in Netflix a documental a documentary about an octopus and with a diver, and it's the same that happened to Sasha. Sasha went in the winter to the sea in Costa Brava, and she have a beautiful night connection, and she make a documentary about that. So everybody go to Big World Small Sasha to see Sasha's video, and go to Al Simon to see her video. So talking about your beach. Go ahead, Sasha.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's a good idea to try to get used to swimming in cold water because it helps you there. And it's actually, it feels refreshing. At first it feels like a shock. At first it feels awful, but you get used to it and it gets easier and it actually becomes really nice, really refreshing. And there's also a key to doing it, okay?
Yeah, which one?
Okay, so for one, if you don't have a stream or a river nearby, I would take like 1.5 liters of water with me to wherever I camp. So I fill it up, and then wherever I camp, I'll bring it with me. And then I would just pour the water over me, okay? But you start with the feet, okay? Pour the water in your feet, or if you're in a river, start with the feet. Keep your sweater and everything on if it's cold, okay? First wash your feet, then wash your legs, then wash your arms, because as soon as you wash your chest, then you get cold. Then you get really cold. So wash your chest back. So wash all of your outer parts, all of your parts first, and then last do your chest and your back. And then it's much easier to get cold water on you.
Okay. Hey, great advice.
If you want to be clean, there's no way around it. You have to go in cold water. It's cold.
It's cold, yes or yes. What do you think about that advice? That empiecen de agua por los pies y después deje el pecho para último. What do you think about that, Al? Do you think that's a good advice?
For clean the washing.
Yeah, no? For clean yourself, to wash yourself.
Many times I do it in English, I don't know, but toallitas.
Toallita. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a good recourse.
The problem is, Al, that I am almost 180 centimeters height. I am big. So if I want to wash myself with a baby wife, I think I should need to purchase the whole factory. So I am I have a lot of hair. Well, not in my head, but I have a lot of hair. So no, I cannot use a baby wife. But anyway,
you gotta go in the river, man.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, in that case, I think this is the versus. Now I prefer the Sashas. Not the Sasha one here.
And another thing, I brought like a bunch of pairs of underwear and socks, and I washed them kind of frequently. Every few days, I washed all my underwear. I never wore them more than like one day. So I always washed those things in the river, not with soap or anything, but just with water, just rinsing off. And then, And another thing I realized, another maybe word of advice, is if you want to wash your clothes, especially your underwear and your socks, it's better to have dark colors so they dry faster in the sun.
Oh, yes.
Something I didn't think about before.
It's a good tip.
Hey, everybody, take wrote that tip. Hey, take us some more, Sasha. In your case, Sasha, how do you tell your partner, Sasha? How do you tell your family, Al? Hey, I'm going out. I'm going to disappear for 51 days or 41 days, but have fun. I'll see you there in almost 2 months. How do you manage that situation? I mean, how do they live the experience in that? Okay, Al, go ahead. You first. Go ahead. You first.
The experience of my family.
Yeah.
For my family, they think that I crazy. No, I am crazy. No.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
But I don't know.
You have no idea.
Honestly, I don't remember like the moment that I told him or how I told him or anything, but probably I just said that I want to do this hike, and he was like, "What the hell? This is a really long hike. Are you crazy?" And then I was like, "But that's what I want to do." And then eventually he was like, "Okay, do it." So I did.
Did he told you that? Did he told you, "Hey, I want to hike with you. I wanna go with you"? Did he told you that?
No, he did not want to go with me, and I wouldn't. I would not want someone who doesn't want to do this trail to go with me or at all,
Okay.
because they should really want to do the trail if they're gonna do this.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
I
but
can
he did
imagine.
do the first like 2 or 3 days, which is what he wanted to do that. So that was nice. He went with me for the first 20 kilometers.
Okay. And Al, what about you? Did your family support you when you told to them, yeah, go ahead, Al, my son, have fun, disappear for 2 months? I mean, did they take it as good as I am telling you right now? Or did your mom or your dad told you, wait, my son, think a little bit? How was that moment?
When I go in the
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the middle, in the
yeah,
middle.
exactly. No, cuando tú tomaste la decisión de decirle a tu mamá, a tu papá,
Ah.
mira, me voy a perder por 2 meses y no vuelvo por ahora.
For me, I take the decision and I buy the ticket and I don't listen any person.
You don't listen to anything.
It's normal for me. It's normal.
Now let's move on to the sentimental section. Yes, let's see how our loved ones lived it. Those who were left at home, far away from you, and who days after days, seconds after seconds were watching over you to see how you were doing. We turn it over to the couples. So I'm going to invite Tio, who is Sasha's partner, and Lola, who is Alfonso's mother. We welcome them with a round of applause. Go ahead, Lola and Tio, and Jordi Toms. I give you the microphone to continue.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Like I said, I'm going to let Tio to enter to join us first, and then Al, I'm going to talk to your mother, and to everybody. I want to introduce Tio to the call. Tio is Sasha's partner, and I have talking a lot with Tio in the past, and the success of Sasha hiking was because she had a great supporting home as Tio. So, Tio, go ahead. I'll give you the words. It's your time. I want Tio to explain who you are, what do you do, and how you really support Sasha, and all the details that we discussed in the past and by email. So, Tio, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for inviting me. It's my mic. Everything is fine. Yeah, you can see me. Everything great. Yeah. Nice to see you all. I've been listening so far. Quite interesting. Yeah, I mean, I was listening about, Sasha was saying about when she told me about her journey, and I was like, yeah, indeed. I know that Sasha is a bit crazy. She's a bit like she's like a wolf. You cannot keep Sasha inside the house for too long. She just goes there. She wants to go into the nature. But even for me, 2 months out there into the mountains, it seemed a bit crazy. But I think what made me a lot more relaxed is because she explained that this hike is not that wild like I imagined. It's not like you are in the mountains for 2 months. There are lots of towns, lots of villages, lots of shelters that from 20 to 30 kilometers or whatever you can get food and water and so forth. So because she explained to me in detail, she spent so much time like in these virtual maps trying to put all kinds of points there. I will stop here, you can find water there. She did a lot of research, so that made me a lot more relaxed. Of course, I was like, okay, after all, it's your life, so you do what you love doing, and I will support you as much as I can. So I think that's something that you should understand about Sasha, because she's not like your average human. Sasha sometimes she just goes up here on the mountain. For me, that's kind of like a little trail or like an adventure. But for Sasha, she's like, I'm just going there for like 2 hours and I come back. She's like that. She can do this kind of things. She has so much physical resilience. So I think knowing that, I was like, I think she can, eventually she'll manage it. Plus, I keep in touch with her all the time, and I had a map where I could also track her and see where she will be or where she is. And a few times, like maybe 2-3 times, I've helped her to find a spot where she could camp.
Oh yes. How
So
was that,
yeah.
Tio? How was that?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I could look around and on the maps, and I found some places, and I'm like, okay, you can stay here if you want. And now with these technologies, you can, you don't feel so detached maybe from you don't feel like you're so in the wilderness, because you are connected with the rest. But I think one time, it happened that she had no signal for like 5 days or so. She was in Andorra, and we talked before, because I asked her, I'm trying not to be too patronizing, of course. Our relationship is more like, you also have your own life, so you can do your own things. But I said, tell me, please, when should I get worried? Like, how many days should pass? So, like, when I will get worried, like 5 days is enough. If I don't get to you in 5 days, should I be worried? Like, should I call the police or something? Or should I, you tell me, So we kind of knew that in Andorra, her SIM may not work. So, but it was like 5 days or so, I think, maybe 4 or 5 days, when she didn't have any kind of, no, I couldn't contact her at all. And at that, I was a little bit worried, like just a little bit. I was like, well, I have no idea where she is and no idea what she's doing. So that was one moment but eventually she contacted me. She was like, okay, everything was fine.
And Tio,
Yeah,
let me.
Spanish didn't work in
Sorry,
Andorra.
Sasha.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sasha. What did
No,
you
no,
say?
I was just going to say that at least my Lebara card, it didn't work in Andorra.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. The Spain card in Andorra is roaming and it's very expensive. I made a mistake once that I just used the roaming there and it's so expensive. But Tio, how do you because I'm asking because you explained me that before. I mean, I noticed, and like Sandra Camina is watching Sasha's videos. I noticed that Sasha did not only the GR11, she mixed it with the HRP, which one wow, it's huge. How do you mix them? I mean, because Sasha and you told me that you were like the logistic one who prepared the route, and I mean, how do you manage that? How do you say, you know what, I'm going to trust this line so you can walk from this path? Because what happened to me many times when I'm designing my own route, Tio, I use Gaia GPS, and in the maps I do see the road, and I'm going to pass through this place. But in the reality, the vegetation just closed the road and there's no path. I mean, how do you prepare a Sacha's road?
This is for Sasha probably, because she had a bunch of tools there. I think she had 2 or 3 maps or something like that.
Oh
Yeah,
yes, Sasha.
yeah, I mean, but honestly, I was using like Maps.me, and I was using like, I don't know, some other free app, and they were not that good. But because I mapped out the route before going, I like looked at basically every part of the trail, and I knew which parts of the HRP were really cool, like a really cool lake or something really beautiful. And I was like, okay, I would like to do that.
Okay.
So I would diverge and take that part of the HRP. And then I knew that in 20 kilometers or 10 kilometers, however long, it would go back to the GR11.
Okay.
And then I go
Yeah,
back
we'll
on the GR11. And then somewhere
Okay.
else, I also did a bunch of variations like that, which are really nice. So like
Okay.
11.1, 11.2, 11, whatever.
Okay.
They're a bit different than the main trail, but sometimes it's worth it. And the guidebook would also tell you, like, oh, in some places they're like, it will say that, oh, it's really worth it to take this part of the route, as long as the weather is good. Because if the weather is bad, you may want to stay on the main trail, because it's a lot safer. Like whenever I went to the HRP, it was like not much of a trail sometimes just really bouldery, really steep, or so if it's raining or something, I wouldn't do the HRP if you can.
Okay.
Just stick to GR11. But yeah.
And Sasha, from your side, I mean, how do you manage to live far away from your partner Tio? I mean, in those days that he told us now that there was 40 days that he was worried because not knowing from you. How do you feel at that moment? Do you feel the same worry that, wow, maybe he's worried about me? But in your side, how do you manage to be far away from your partner?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to prepare him and say that, hey, I might not have signal for the next 4 or 5 days. So know that, and don't be worried, and that's all I could do.
Okay. And the last question, Theo, and then I want to thank you for being with us, but I promise you the last question. I want to take you more time. But Theo, how do you support Sasha in the past? Sorry, before the road, buying the equipment, recommending the clothes, because this is a very sweet part of the video that I said to myself, wow, man, this guy is so charmed that the first day that we were hiking alone, I think you were as per your words, you were carrying most of the weight. And you say, hey, Sasha, what a moment. How are you planning to walk more if I cannot walk more than I have right now? How I'm going to, do you think you can get it? I say, wow, this guy is so sharp. So my question is, Theo, how do you support Sasha in the past, recommending stuff to buy, clothes to put, equipment to make? Because you were the one filming her when she was showing all the things that she's going to put in the site. How do you manage that moment, that beautiful moment?
I think it's mostly her choosing whatever she needs, because she knows, of course, she knew what she needed. There were a few things that she didn't need, of course, and then
the hammock.
Back. Actually, I was a bit surprised. I was a bit surprised at that decision back then, but I was like, I don't think you can need a hammock there, but eventually, and I think maybe one piece of advice that I gave her regarding the whatever she took with her was that, don't take she had a big camera, she had a big camera with a lens. I said, just take this GoPro because, it's going to carry a lot of weight and this doesn't make any much sense. So maybe, there was a little influence there, but she had a lot of time she spent a lot of time trying to see what gear she needs. And she even tested some of this gear. So, and I think the solar panel made the difference. And she's very that's one thing I can say. She's a bit, cheap, let's say. She doesn't want to spend money on stuff. And I'm more like, but, just buy a solar panel is going to be very helpful, at least something.
You're safer.
So I had to push her a little bit with just a few things, just buy that. It's okay for your own safety.
So you play a very good role in her relationship. And Theo, to finish, this is just to finish. My beautiful daughter is going to see this video. My beautiful wife is going to see this video. I want you to give an advice to them about me traveling alone, hiking alone in the Pyrenees. What you can tell to my daughter and to my wife, Theo?
Well, I think if you keep in touch with them, then it will be a lot less stressful. And if they know where you are going, and if you explain to them very well how this hike is, because that made a big impact on me. I thought, that it's just through the mountains alone. That's all. I didn't know that there are a lot of villages around. There are a lot of shelters. If they know that, you can even stay at a hotel there. It's like a manned, how we call that, shelter, where you can have food and you can have a nice shower, probably warm shower and so forth. So it's not as that much of a wilderness. It's not that dangerous. Plus, wild animals, not much. There are 3 bears in the entire Europe or something. It's not bad. So I think.
No, but it's okay, Theo. Thank you so much for being with us, Theo. It was a real pleasure, and thank you so much. And one last thing, Theo, what do you do? Do you have any project? Do you have something in your hand that you want to share with us?
Well, actually, one reason why I wasn't as worried about Sasha is because I'm so busy with doing all kinds of things that maybe I was working on a documentary. I was working on so many things that I kept myself busy with so many other things. So I didn't. I do a lot of things. It's so hard.
So you're doing a documentary.
I'm working on a documentary right now, and I made another one 10 years ago. This is a sequel to the documentary.
Great.
I have lots of online projects, free alternatives to Facebook, alternatives to Google Drive, to all kinds of. I have a big project where I do all kinds of things. So
Okay,
I mean,
great. But thank you so much, Theo. Have a wonderful time, and thank you
thank
for
you for
being with
inviting.
us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. And like, yeah, I'll keep on
Thank-
watching.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye
Okay.
bye.
And now, guys, I have another surprise for you all. That I talked to your mom before this. So wait, so Mari from Croatia. I answer with that question. Mari from Croatia. I answer your question. Is dangerous? Any path that you feel that it's wow, my life is in danger for now. I know that there's a path between Pineta and Refugio de Goritz. I know, Al, you didn't took that way, but Sasha, you did took that way. And it's the Faja de las Olas that you need to clamp or take a, like a chain. If in your case, Sasha, you came from Pineta to Goritz. And after you climb that huge mountain, you have to pass La Faja de la Sola. That is like a chain. How was that one? Because I know you take a detour, Al, and you didn't take it. But Sasha, how was that moment for you?
Actually, it was not difficult. They had all kinds of signs saying, "Oh, it's so dangerous and risky." It was not that big of a deal, that part of the route. Um, there were just a few chains that helped you get down some steep slopes, some
Okay.
steep part.
Okay.
And those chains help a lot. Although it's really awkward when you have this huge backpack on your back and you're like trying to hold on to chains and like dripping going downhill, but it's not that dangerous. I felt in danger when there were boars fighting outside of my tent in the middle of the night and I was alone. That was scary. And also sleeping in a lightning storm in your tent also was a little bit. Before doing this hike, I never was like afraid of lightning storms because I thought like that the chance of lightning striking you is so small that it's insignificant. But for some reason, as I was hiking and Tio started putting it in my head that I should be afraid of lightning storms while sleeping in a tent, then I started to become more afraid. And then when I got to Andorra, I think the video you saw, I just luckily one night went into a free refuge, and during that night there was the biggest lightning thunderstorm I've seen in my life, and it took down a bunch of really huge trees that fell all over the trail, and it was a huge storm. After that, when I came out from that refuge in the morning, I was terrified, thinking, what if I was in a tent in that storm that I saw last night? And from that day on, I was always kind of afraid of being caught in a storm, because that storm came out of nowhere. It was like a beautiful sunny day, and then all of a sudden it was just crazy. So from that day on, I kind of started strategically trying to place my tent somewhere where, like, not right next to the biggest tree, but then not in the middle of a field or something like that, somewhere where I would be more or less safe if there was a storm. And there were a few nights, for example, where I knew a storm was coming and I had to sleep in my tent. So I tried to find places that were around rocks, around big boulders, so I can be like protected a bit from them. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but
great.
you
Yeah,
can
for
probably
sure.
look up more information how to be safest, in a lightning storm, because it could happen.
Al, I'm gonna start with you. Al, now that you know what to bring, what's your ideal backpack to do the GR11?
Repeat, please.
Yes, sure. ¿Cuál sería tu mochila ideal para hacer el GR11? Ahora que tú sabes ya qué no llevar. No me digas, yo dejaría esto. No. ¿Qué es lo que tú dijeras? Ok, yo me llevaría tan.
All the bag?
Yeah,
no?
the pack, yeah. Your kitchen things, but what else? What
Yes, the kitchen, the tent. But the difference, if you want to film, I have a drone, cameras, and the important is the tent, the food, and a good jacket yes, the most important for me is that, and it's a minimal living, no?
Yeah, a minimal living. And what about you, Sasha? What's your ideal backpack?
Um, so I made a video about all of the gear that I
Hey,
brought.
we are going to that. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much everything that I said in there for me was pretty important. Um, Also, water filter. If you're talking about actual,
Yeah.
individual things, but kind of all of the things that I had in the video. But an important thing probably is the backpack itself. So,
Okay.
Al, you said you had back problems. You had pain in your back.
Yes, one day, Al, you say my back hurt a lot. You say that, Al, one day. Que te dolía mucho la espalda.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never had any back pain. I had pain in my feet, pain in my legs, blisters, many things, but my back it never really hurt. But I think it's very important that maybe, probably is because of the backpack, the
Yeah.
actual backpack itself, and the way it sits on you. So I don't know if you don't have a backpack yet, Jordy, then I don't know if you have one or not, but it's always when you get a backpack, you always want to try a bunch on and then really kind of invest into the
Okay.
backpack because
Okay.
I think it's important.
What did you realize that you bring with you that you haven't bring with you that was useless for you the whole trip? What about you, Sasha?
A bikini top. It was useful only in the end when I got to the other side, and then I went swimming at the beach. I think that was kind of. I mean, at first I had this stupid idea about the hammock, and I didn't bring it. Theo took it from me.
This is what I wanted.
No, but I didn't bring it. That's why. If I had brought it, I would have been just cursing myself the whole time. Yeah, that was the dumbest idea. Don't bring a hammock. It's just a waste of weight and space. Only bring the things that are essential to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to take you until that point, the hammock. Later, we will see.
I didn't bring it. That's why I didn't say it.
And Al, what about you? What do you think that was useless? ¿Qué tú pensaste que te sobró que no lo usaste nunca?
For me, the book. I have a book and I don't read any day. And the other thing is the solar cream.
And the solar cream.
Really?
Yes, because I don't use, and I think that if you watch in the river and in the lakes, is good. No cream, solar cream, no.
Because you already published that video. How long does it take you to from the start until the end? How long does it take? ¿Cuánto te tomó terminarlo? ¿Cuántos días?
For 54.
54 days. Okay, and what about you, Sasha? How long does it take you?
It took me 61 days.
61. Okay. Perfect. So this is more or less what I have in my mind because I want to take my time. I like to take pictures, to film videos. And this is more or less. I won't tell you, and I want to invite you to see in Montaña Oculta in how many times he did it. He did it in 28 days. Yeah, because he didn't really like that because he have I recommend you to see that video from Montaña Oculta. It's so good because at the end, something happened in his video. It's like a movie. It's like a thrill movie, like a suspense movie. So I recommend you to see Montaña Oculta videos. Here, what about animals? This is for me one of the scariest things for me because in my country, the Dominican Republic, we only have chickens, we have horses, cows, and that's all. But the first time I saw a wild boar was here in Catalonia. So tell me about the animals. One person says, no, there's no wolf. But if you type in YouTube, walking wolf in Valdenuria, you will see a video of a wolf in Valdenuria. If you type bears in the Pyrenees, you will see bears in the Pyrenees. But everybody said, no, I don't see anything. And in one live stream between Eli del Pirineo and Pau Calado, I remember that Eli asked to Pau, whatever her name is, Do you see any bears? And he said, well, I think I saw a path, I think he said. So my question is, what type of animal do you find yourself in the Pyrenees, and how do you manage those situations? So now your turn, Sasha. How do you manage animal behind the wall? What happened to the wild?
I would not worry about bears or wolves. Your chances of getting struck by lightning are probably higher than your chances of seeing a bear or a wolf. Boars, yes. Actually, there were 3 nights in a row where the boars came right up to my tent. The 2 of the nights were my first night alone, and then my second night alone. And the first night was actually when I was with Tio, but I was dead asleep, and only he heard the boars. So, but they were there. And the first night, yeah, it was like Jordy explained earlier that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I'm going to sleep now. I'm not afraid of anything. There's nothing scary here. No wild animals. And then like I went to sleep. 20 minutes later, this really, really loud wild animal ran right next to my tent, right by my tent, and then stood like a few meters away, making really loud sounds. And I was terrified. I shined my light, and eventually the animal went away. Kind of came back a little, but was a bit more shy. And I was still scared, whatever. I went on. Then the second night, I was sure I was not going to be bothered by any animals, because I thought there were little chances of, seeing wild animals. And this time, boars came right next to my tent. They were growling. They were growling really loud, and I thought I would scare them, and I went I made some noise. I became more brave, I was like, hey, and once I did that, the boars started growling like louder and became more aggressive. And I was just terrified. I don't know. Then there were 2 boars, I think, and they were like fighting next to my tent, and kind of all night I couldn't get them away, and I was terrified. So that was near the Mediterranean. So.
Wow, but believe me, I don't want to be living that situation. Yeah, I'm very afraid of the wild boar. And
but if you're a big guy, probably if you get out of your tent and you stand up, they will be afraid and they'll run away. Because I was thinking maybe I'm not intimidating enough, for them.
And Al, what about you?
I think the same. The cows is the most dangerous animal in the Pyrenees, no?
Yeah.
Because the wild animals, I think that there are a real problem or dangerous, no? Because the animal is curious. How do you say? And for me, I live a similar situation that Sasha, and one night I heard a big animal. No, I think that no, it's a horse, no a cow. I think that, and I do it many sounds, but no problems. The only problems is the el forro. The fox. The fox is only the problem because
exactly. What happened
for
with
that
you on the
is a recommendation is take your food in a bag and put up in a tree. I listen some people, but I think that one more people is take your tent near me.
Okay.
And when I sleeping, listen a big how do you say ruido? No.
Yeah. Noises. Yeah.
Yes, but I don't understand. I think the other people want to molestar me. How do you say
to
molestar?
bother you? Yeah.
Yes.
To bother you.
All the time, I think that there are more people, and the end of the history is no people. I listen
You were alone.
yes, I listen the river or another noise, and you change for a people talk. No?
Okay.
It's
Okay.
the alone, no, many time alone. And now the second time I listen the same and put my tent, no,
Okay.
and I recognize or I see that the food is no.
Was gone. There's no food.
Yes. And I have all the night searching because it's my food and my cooking.
Your cooking
machine,
stuff, yeah.
no? Yes.
Oh.
And crazy all the night searching this one.
Searching for it.
Yes.
But
in the finish of the night, I found it.
Wow.
So your cooking pot, basically, and everything. It's still.
Well, yes, all my food and the cooking.
Bastard. That was close to the Atlantic?
What?
Fue cerca del Atlántico ese.
No, it's in Isaba, in between Isaba, Zuriza.
I don't remember where that is. It's on the west side, or
yeah, in the west side. In the west side,
yes.
yeah.
On the west side,
Yes.
yeah.
It's at the for you is the finish of Aragon.
Yeah, the finish.
Navarre.
Yeah. No, because it's an interesting thing. Because for me, I never had problem with foxes, but I met people along the way who I was crossing paths with, and they were all telling me about the foxes.
Yes,
and
no?
one couple even told me that a fox broke their tent and stuck their head into the tent and stole their bocadillo. And they were terrified. And I was like, why are you afraid of foxes? Like, really? You're afraid of foxes? But they were... I guess it's scary if it, goes at your tent and then breaks the tent. But yeah.
Yes, for me, broken the tent into and take the food.
That's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I listen that in the same place and other people doing the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it's regular to find that situation.
Yes, it's the house of this fox.
Yeah. From what I understand, it's just one short area of the route where that's a problem, I think. Because in the mountains, in the high mountains, I don't think there are foxes.
No, it's down.
It's only on
it's
the
just that part, Jordi, so don't worry.
Okay. What do you recommend?
I use a filter.
A filter. And what about you, Sasha?
Yeah, I also use a filter. Yeah. It worked really well for me.
And none of you suffer from diarrhea, stomach ache, or anything, right?
Ali, you want to go first? Or?
For me?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any problem with the water. I have a problem with a food in a bar.
Okay, now
I think that is for that.
Okay. And what about you, Sasha? Do you suffer from diarrhea or something like that?
Not diarrhea, but yeah, I think I had no problems with water. But one time at the end of the trail, I didn't publish this video yet, and I didn't show it to you. I ate like a €1 packet of bacon, which I don't know, maybe it was expired. I don't know. I ate it, and then a few minutes later, I was vomiting, and I was in like this park close to a town, and I stayed there all night vomiting. Like, it was awful. And I was so sick for a few days. The whole next day I stayed in that park. It was like, it felt like a homeless person. I was just laying in the park all day. Yeah.
Oh Lord!
So watch out for
how difficult was? How do you manage to place your camp every night? Because as per your videos, you place it in such a nice place. So my question is, it was as easy as the both of you film in your videos to camp, to make wild camp, or it's not really the behind the scene is more complicated? Sasha, what about you?
Okay, so in the high mountains, it was pretty easy to find many wonderful, beautiful camping spots in a lot of places. And some places I knew that it was not legal. So I would make sure that I would go off the trail and I would go far away enough that anyone on the trail won't see me. So if rangers came around, I don't think that rangers are walking around the forest, just random parts of the forest. They're walking on the trails.
Okay.
So you go away from the trail. And also, if I was really worried about it, I would set the tent up just before sunset or around sunset, and I would break it down early in the morning.
Okay.
But for me, the hardest part was actually closer to both coasts, because there it was much harder to find wild camping because you're in a village almost every day, and sometimes you're in much more habited areas. So there was where I struggled, and slept next to churches or people's backyards.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like happened to you that you enter in many places in. Yeah, I know. And what about you, Al? ¿Fue tan fácil poner una tienda de campaña como aparece en tus videos?
It's the same that Sasha told. Is in the high mountain is very easy. There are many places, but near the town I hide. No.
Okay.
And no is very easy. No is very easy because you want a flat, flat floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. To be more comfortable.
No is one person thing in all the place, but all the place now is the best place for me.
Okay. I got it. So as I resume, it's not as easy as appears in your video to place the tent every day.
No, it's easy, and it's very a hard work. All the days. It's a tired.
Are you agree with that, Sasha?
Yeah, sometimes you really have that in your mind, like, where am I gonna sleep tonight? Oh shit, it's getting dark. But
in the
high mountains, easy. On the coasts, not that easy.
It's not as easy. And guys,
what about super difficult? But yeah.
And what about the temperature? How's the weather, Sasha, during the day and during the night? Because anyone who's gonna be doing the GR11, most of them are in the summer. So you can imagine, it's hot because your videos during the day you appear like sweating, but then in the night you appear with a lot of clothes. So how's the temperature, Sasha? Let's go with you. How's the temperature in over there during the day and during the night?
Yeah, so you have to be prepared for both really, really hot weather and close to freezing, I would say, because I think some nights in the high mountains, it was close to freezing. The important thing is your sleeping bag. So mine has a comfort level of, I think, up to -4 or something. Wow. And I'm not sure if that's accurate because it was a cheap sleeping bag. I don't know. But that's what it says. That's what it claims. It's pretty fluffy. And there were a few nights where, I put all of my clothes on in my sleeping bag. I put, a fleece, a fluffy jacket. I had a rain jacket, had 2 pairs of leggings, and I was still cold, and I could just barely go to sleep.
Wow.
So one thing we used to do in Siberia sometimes is put an emergency blanket, even if it's not an emergency, put it over the top of your sleeping bag.
Okay.
It can also help. But you should also, if you have an emergency blanket, you can also carry 2. You can keep 1, 2 for not emergencies, but, times where it's just cold, and then keep 1 wrapped up for in case you need it in an emergency.
For an emergency. Okay. And what about you, Al? How's the weather during the day and during the night?
Yes, at the day, I do it in the summer, no?
Okay.
At the day, it's very hot. Some days it's very, very hot. And when at the night, very cool.
So it's the 2 extreme temperatures over there.
Yes, and for the sleep, I have the bag and how do you say, the mummy? Is the name is the mummy for the sleeping bag.
This is a very good one do you anytime get in trouble by camping in a private area that you should be camping there? Did someone knock your door? Hey, you are in a private area. Move. Does it happen to you once?
For
Sasha.
me,
Sasha, no, whatever. Well, go
okay.
ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
For me, only one night I sleep in a proper. No, I don't have any problem.
Okay. But even that you slept in a private property. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
no, I don't have any problem.
Any problem? What about you, Sasha?
Yeah, I didn't have problems with people, but like I always, when I knew that the spot was kind of dodgy, I would set up late and then get up as early as possible, you know. So
Okay.
put the tents at sunset, get it out by sunrise, and then you should be okay.
So this is the main one. Great. The next one is we talked in the past about the getting dirty. What I can't is that I walk the whole day, I swear the whole day, I get dirty the whole day, and then we don't have a river near to me. Let me go to sleep. I can't. I need to take a shower. I need to clean myself. I cannot get into my sleeping bag with. This
is a normal situation.
I have a problem here. I can't. I just see myself when I hike. One Saturday day, I've been hiking for 13 hours. I am so dirty that when I get to the top, and I wash myself, the water is dirty. I think at that time, what, can I get into a sleeping bag right now? No, I can't. Sasha, how do you manage that situation? Did that happen to you? I think yes.
Yeah, so I mean, we talked about that earlier, right? So I won't repeat myself about camping next to rivers and walking.
Yes, but there's places that there's no river close.
But there are usually you can get water, right? Because you will have to get water for drinking and for eating. So whenever I'm planning to camp, even if I camp somewhere that's not right next to a water source, I bring an extra big bottle of water with me, an extra 1.5 liters.
Okay.
I fill it up and I use that to wash myself before I go to sleep.
Okay. You got the situation. What about you, Al? You in your case, because in part of your video you said, I have 5 days we have having a shower. Wow, I can't. I can.
When anyway, I stay in the mountain, for me, no.
I can. I have this.
In my house, is different. No.
Yeah. No, I can. But anyway, let's see how.
Martin, you don't have to, because look, I didn't do that, so you can take a bottle and wash yourself.
Sasha, I'm quite big, you know.
Take 2 bottles. It's still better than nothing.
Yeah, it's true. It's better than nothing.
So much better. You even with 1 liter of water, you pour it over your body and then you towel yourself off. You'll feel much better.
Oh, that's so good. From buying your stuff, your tent, your sweater, everything, traveling, your food, everything. How much was your budget?
Everything.
Yeah. Just to have an idea.
For 2 months.
Yeah.
And the material, no material.
Material, your food, travel, everything.
For me, the material I have all, and for food, so 300, 400 for month.
Okay, per month. Okay, so per month, 400. So in the total, it'll be almost 800.
Yes, but the problem is when you go, you need a warm shower and a bed, and you pay 60, 70 euros for 1 night.
Yes. Yeah. So that will make a. I know. I have a friend. He did it. The HRP Francisco. If you are seeing to me, Francisco, congratulations to you. He did the HRP with the GR11, and he's 70 years old, and he slept all the nights in shelter. And he told me he spent a lot of money. a lot of more. But okay, with that, I have an idea about how much. And what about you, Sasha? How much do you spend?
Yeah, so the thing is, before I left for this hike, I had pretty much no money and no job for a long time. So my idea was to spend only as much money as I normally spent on food. So normally I spend 100 euros a month on food, maybe. I cheap, only at the grocery store. And I thought I could do it on that budget, 100 per month. So that's 200 for the 2 months. I realized I was wrong at some point, maybe around Andorra, when I realized like I couldn't do the hike without Nutella and chorizo and gummy bears and things that I don't normally eat. So I bumped it up to 150 a month. So I did the trek on 300 euros because I didn't pay for any accommodation or anything else. So that was the actual hike, was 300 euros. And then I didn't buy much gear, although I think I did buy the water filter, which was maybe 30 euros or so. And I bought a couple of things, but most of the stuff I either borrowed from friends or I had from before, just old gear. So I didn't have to buy a lot of stuff.
Okay. What about ticks, guys? Garrapatas. Al, do you have any problem with ticks?
No.
What about you, Sasha?
Yeah, I never got any ticks, but I brought tweezers just in case. And I usually check, like, you check behind your ears before you go to sleep, because they'll stick to places like that. Your armpits, they'll, check your body. I usually did checks for ticks.
Okay.
Especially after going through like a bushy area or something like that.
Okay. So but thank God you never had that type of problem.
No.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And what about this? If any moment that you got lost at any moment? As per your video?
Many moments.
Yes, exactly.
Because I have the map and don't have compass, and
you have the GPS,
every time.
Yeah.
But one day I feeling lost.
Yes.
I grown the many times, but lost one time.
Okay.
I'm feeling lost, and I found it houses, ancient houses, and I think if there are in the past house, there are a way for
exactly, it's true, to get out from there.
And I found the exit.
And you found the road. You found the road again. Wow.
What?
Yeah. Y encontraste el camino.
Yes.
Wow. Y tú, Sacha, ¿alguna vez te sentiste perdida? Sorry, I saw in your video, Sasha, that many times you said, I don't know if I'm walking in the climbing the right mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, Al, how you did it with no GPS. I think if I had no GPS, I would be lost the whole time. I went the wrong way a few times. Not anything serious, but just for a short time, basically, because I had my maps, so I could see, kind of where I was. But there were a couple of times where the trail just, I don't know, one time it just ended in some bushy area, and then on my GPS it said that I was on the trail, and then I kept on going, and then it was just not the trail, and it just confused me. A couple of times I ended up in some bushes, just trying to find the trail. But
I don't remember, I'm being honest, I don't remember exactly, but which one of you one night you said, wow, I think someone is watching me. I feel like someone is watching me. I don't remember which one of you, but how is the night? How is to camp in the night? How is when you turn off that camera, you turn off your light, and you are completely dark, surrounded by the nature? Nature, I mean, mountain, lake, river. I don't know. How is that feeling? That someone is looking at you, a ghost, an ovni, I don't know, whatever, a monster, whatever. How's that feeling? Sasha, you.
Yeah, I never felt like someone was watching me. So I didn't have that scary feeling. Usually at the end of the night, you're so exhausted that I just can't wait to like cook my food, eat
And
my
go to sleep.
food, be in my tent, yeah, yeah, and do whatever I was doing, and then just go. I passed out really fast. I went to sleep
Okay.
really easily. So
Sasha, can you explain a little bit how the menstrual topic it is when you are hiking?
yeah, I mean, of course, it's never a pleasant experience, but especially when you're out in nature, because at least for me, I get a lot of pain and it's not comfortable, So, I mean, one thing I would say for women is bring tampons and not pads because you'll be sweating like crazy. Another thing is don't throw them in the nature, please, because I've seen, around me,
Oh,
tampons
yes.
sometimes lying around the forest, and I think that's really awful. So please pick up your garbage, bring it with you, like Alfonso described. Put it in a plastic bag, and then put that plastic bag in another plastic bag. You get to a village, you can throw it away. Be respectful of the natural environment.
Wow. But Sasha, so and did you feel that you were with lack of energy that those days that you felt tired with all the stress that you normally are carrying, and now with this normal situation, did you felt like wow, I need to rest or to go to hospital or whatever at that time?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would have liked to rest. I remember the first period I had. I was in a free refuge where I stayed, and that night a bunch of children showed up, like a big children's camp.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
and they were so loud, and it was just not peaceful at all. So I couldn't stay there another night because I just wanted some peace. So
Yes,
I had
yeah.
to, walk up a mountain, and then of course it's painful, and then you make it more painful by going up a mountain, but you have to just get through it.
We just got to the end. I want to thank you so much for well everybody that is still with us, and thank you so much, Arl and Sasha, for all the help that you just bring to me. It was a great company, and that we spent a great time together. So I really want to thank you, the both of you.